I hate to break the fishing news up, Yaremchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down, Yaremchuk.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in to episode 178 of the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk, and as always, this podcast is brought to you by our friends over at Japa Machinery. Check them out online at Japa Equipment on Twitter and Instagram. JapaMachinery.com on the interwebs. They got some cool posts up there right now. If you're, the Atchison Business Association, they had something up about they're hiring, and they're always doing cool videos. That's what I like about the fine folks at Japa. They are a certified Cummins dealership as well. They got all your big machinery needs. Check them out, Japa Equipment. If you like when this podcast is chaotic and a little off the rails, then you'll probably like today's episode because Wanye bailed about 5 minutes before we started recording. Jay said he's going to be late. Chalmers originally said he's not going to be here, so it was just going to be the Yaremchuk Bag Milk Show. But now Chalmers has carved out a nice little 20-minute span for us while he drives to a meeting. Chalmers, thanks for taking one for the team here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I felt obligated after all of a sudden, abruptly, there was a meeting made for Wanye at the Umberville building with an engineer, which I know can happen at at a moment's notice. So there's nothing he could do about it. And then when JR was saying that he wasn't coming, I was like, I'll just jump in while I'm driving. But yeah, no, this is probably my favorite part of the week is just talking with you guys, hanging out, shooting the shit.
And now we do it twice a week.
Yeah, so you're in your truck right now, Chalmers. Have you been busy right now? Because construction's going on everywhere. It seems like it doesn't seem like it's slowing down anywhere.
No, it's picked up. People are focused on their houses. I mean, they don't have the detractors to do the things that they've been putting off for years because of, let's say, kids' baseball or school or their own work. Everything that got put on hold has done nothing but give people time to want to better their scenario at home, whether or not it be just clean out a crawl space, clean out a garden shed, build a new garden shed, finish their basement, add the addition that they've been wanting to add, because now they can be there all times. It's going crazy. I mean, what a bad time for there to be lineups at Home Depot because it's the busiest it's ever been. And I was in there today, this morning, and I was talking to one of the managers there, just as I frequently do sometimes. Not about Karen type stuff, but just normal stuff, just shooting the shit. And they are fulfilling 280 to 320 online orders per day. They walk into it. So every morning when they step inside, there's a team of 3 people who are outfitted with a list, and they now have to go around the store and do curbside pickup, and they are 8 to 10 days behind.
That's crazy.
And the orders can be and the orders can be as small as one box of 500 screws, or it can be as big as a full deck and fence package. And it's crazy, man. I was talking, and they were just I don't know. We're just the old, how do you peel a bag of potatoes? They're just one at a time. It's all we can do. We just walk in and we just go, okay, what's next? And they know their day is just hell. It's so.
I mean, the plus side of that, I'm sure their days go by quick.
Their days go by. Their days have to. They have to go by quick. But yeah, no. So to answer the question, ultimately, I believe it's much busier because I'm getting a lot more calls for bigger projects and just projects that people have been, I think, putting off for a while. And even though, there's a little bit of, you got to stretch your money, especially in this time. It's the most important thing to them right now is getting their house in order, doing that thing that is going to make the situation that we're all in more comfortable. Because a lot of people think that if this goes into September, October, November, this is their zone. This is where they're going to be. This is where they're spending most of their time. I've never spent so much time at my house. So why not take the time right now to make it better?
It's funny you say that because on a completely different angle, but just along the same lines, my sister owns a telestore out in Fort Saskatchewan, and they are busier right now than they've ever been because people are upgrading iPads, they're upgrading phones, they're upgrading basically anything they can to entertain themselves while stuck in the house, My brother-in-law was saying that he has to operate through a closed door where basically he's talking to somebody through the door, fulfilling all their order on his computer system, and then handing the package out curbside delivery style where there's no contact. But he says he is just crazy busy right now, cannot hold inventory because people are just looking to upgrade, like you said, Chalmers, upgrade their spot and make sure that if they are stuck inside for the long haul, that they've got ways to entertain themselves.
It's like when you know you're stuck at home and your quality of life dips because of the things that you can do. It's human nature to spend, like, you know, you're saving money, so you look for things to like make your quality of life better in times like this. Like, I felt it even in myself. And so, I totally understand why that store would be so, like, busy with people upgrading their iPads. And they probably just didn't have a reason to do it before, right? Like, no purpose. But I'm wondering how many stores that are doing protocols like that are just going to make it, like, the norm, even after all of this, because they realize, like, A, it's, like, safer for us, for one thing, right? But B, it's just easier. There's probably some businesses where this is, like, costing them less money, not like a place like Home Depot, but costing them less money and just overhead. I don't know. I'm always curious to see because each business is so different.
It's definitely going to be weird. Like, I mean, we were talking about it the other day about how the province is going to be opening up a little bit here in the coming weeks, and it's going to be strange to go somewhere and have this new normal be instituted, and whether that's sitting way across from somebody at a restaurant or whatever it's going to be. It's going to be super interesting to see how this plays out in the coming months.
Yeah, I think restaurants and bars, they're what really fascinate me. Like, I heard someone say the other day, oh, every bar now, like around the actual bar part, needs to have like plexiglass separating the patrons from the bartender and all that. And it's like, one, if that does happen, how long does it last? Like, is it in 6 months? Does the government say, like, okay, you can take the plexiglass down in all of your establishments?
Nobody's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it. If that happens, just think about when you're at like the Pint on a Friday night, how you're standing sideways on the bar and everybody is chest to back, right?
Yeah.
And you got one arm on the bar and everybody's waiting for service. If that kind of thing, like if that's already made me not want to go to places like the Pint because that shit's just annoying. Just trying to get a bartender's, when I was younger, I loved it, but put up plexiglass, make getting a drink harder. Fuck that. Kids don't even want to go to the bar anyway. People won't be going.
Well, it kills the experience hi everyone. It kills the experience that you're looking for by going to a bar. I think right now the thing that they can do that we can enjoy, thankfully, because of where the weather's at, is patios. And then just providing like a clear line of ability to sanitize your area before you sit, or there's turnover, and having lots of hand sanitizer present, and making sure tables are spaced enough. But right now my thirst that I want to quench is a Nation Beer pint on the Pint patio.
Oh, no doubt.
And that's something I do want to leave my house to do, but going inside is a different story. Like, I know for Oodle Noodles, we've just we just purchased, and some of the stores already have it, but plexiglass partitions for the till. We're not really going to change much because we're not focused on the in-store experience right now. It's just about delivery and takeout, but we're going to add some more levels there because, I understand the pressure to want to reopen. There's economic pressure. There's people out of work. There's businesses that are losing money daily. So they want to try to take a measured approach to try to give them a chance to try to generate some revenue during this time. I understand that. I do feel personally it might be a little bit too soon. So I'm going to kind of act accordingly with that kind of value. And we're not going to be looking to have seating in our restaurants anytime soon. And if we do, it's going to be like if we have a capacity for 20, we're going to have seating for 6. Little Brick, same thing. We're just going to focus on the patio, and we're also going to be taking the approach of, yes, we have this amazing outdoor patio that in the summer fills up and it's amazing, but we're going to expand and actually call the Little Brick patio the River Valley, and we're going to gear our business towards grab and go, limited seating, trying to create as much separation, because you've got to think about your customers' health and your staff's health, our staff's health during this time. So we got to create a little separation, because the numbers are going to dictate whether this is working or not, whether if our cases start spiking or not. And it's got to be kind of measured there. But yeah, you're right. Like I have no ambition to want to get into a crowded room like sardines right now, where I'm touching someone and having my hand on a surface, touching money, doing all these like weird, like, normal stuff that right now feels weird.
Well, speaking of your experience though, like at the bar, that's the whole experience of going to the bar. A fun experience would be being like a table for 6 at Oodle Noodle. You're like the only ones dining there. It's just you and like your 2 kids and your husband or your wife. And another experience. So like I'm always curious about this. I'm 21 years old. I'm 20 years old right now.
Good for you.
And I've been going to the bar, and I'm single, and I've been maybe swinging and hitting a home run every so often with a lady, and it all just quit. What the hell are 20-year-olds and like 19-year-olds and 21-year-olds and maybe a little older doing? Like,
I mean, if you want to ask a 35-year-old single guy, I can tell you what it's like.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So what? So what the fuck? Like, you getting itchy or what?
Buddy, the drought is real, man. You're doing rain dances all over the place.
So how do you, like, okay, first of all, if you're 21 and you couldn't go to the bar and meet anybody right now, are you trying to meet somebody online? And is it just like, listen, I just need some physical contact? Are you symptom free? Let's meet where? Because you can't come in my house, meet in my car in a parking lot. Like, how are people fulfilling these needs? I fucking often wonder. Because imagine if we were 21 years old and we were going to the bar and it was just about summertime, just about end of school, and all of a sudden it was all stopped. And we didn't have a girlfriend. We were single. Like, that would have 1 week of that would have driven me nuts. Like,
we lived for that, man. We lived for that. It was the weekends were such a spectacle for us at that time because we had the energy.
I'll tell you, man, what it is you end up having these like really in-depth conversations with people that are just nothing but that. And it's been super weird, right? So you're on the dating apps or whatever. And then if you meet somebody, you talk to them and then it progresses to a point where, hey, do you want to FaceTime or something like that? And then you have to do those things, which are completely abnormal, yet normal in the time. And just try to have some kind of connection that way. And then you'll be like, there's a lot of like forward planning too. It'll be like, well, when restaurants open up, we could go out for dinner or for a drink or something. That'll be nice. And be like, well, yeah, who the fuck knows when that is, right? So it's been super odd. As the single guy in this podcast, it has been annoying. It has been frustrating. And I mean, you guys know it. You haven't been single in 100 years, but if you get thrown back into the dating pool, it's fun and it's interesting and it's an exciting moment in life, but then you get that ripped away and you're like, well, shit. Now what do I do?
Totally. That's fucking crazy. I couldn't even imagine. Like,
so man, to answer your question, it's annoying.
Your first date's over FaceTime, so that's at least saving you a bit of coin on a dinner. But then you got to be the real romantics who's sending, like, find out their address somehow in like the first FaceTime, send them like some flowers or something. I don't know, send something romantic, maybe an edible arrangement or something.
That's all you can do, really, is you just gotta, and then you're just having, from my experience, because I was dating before this happened, and now just trying to navigate this period now. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're having these really intense kind of deep conversations with people, and you're getting to know them, which to a point is wonderful, right? But like you said, what do you do to advance it from there when you can't hang out with that person? Or you'd be like, okay, well, maybe we could go walk my dog in a field or something and be like 10 feet apart. And then when it's over, I just bow at you politely. I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, I know it sounds weird, but like meeting in a park and just like sitting on a picnic bench with like maybe your dog and like they're just sitting there, or even just like, hey, grab a Slurpee or grab a coffee or something and then meet me there. So at least we have something in our hands and it's not so goddamn awkward. Like, I think that would be awkward for the initial, like, couple minutes and then the goodbye. But I think the middle would be I think it would just kind of get normal. Don't you?
Same thing with like a FaceTime date, right? Like, I feel like the beginning would be like, and then once you get a conversation going, it's fine. But then, like, how do you just sit there and be like, well, I gotta go, even though you don't have to go anywhere? Like, how would you end that?
Totally. The first podcast we did like this over FaceTime, it was odd for me for like the first 10 to 20 minutes. It felt just weird. Now, I'm not sure which one I like better. I think I kind of like this one better. I don't have to come all the way down there. We don't have to sit there. Like, we can do it from wherever. I'm literally driving to a meeting and we can talk about this stuff. I mean, to me, it doesn't sound as great, obviously, but that's just you could work on that, I'm sure. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I think about this stuff all the time and just sitting around thinking about all the different age levels that if I was at, what it would be like, what life would be like. Try to gain some empathy for people out there.
Well, you think your old pal Bag Milk, like Chalmers.
Yeah, well, you're doing a lot of.
My prediction, because I think what's happening here is like you're actually, because of the circumstance, you're forced to really get to know the people that you're interacting with. So you're gonna like come out of this probably, Bag Milk. If you make a connection, you'll get so deep into it with it. You're probably gonna come out of this with a virtual girlfriend.
And if you meet up with a girl in like at a park and it's like the second time you've talked and like she's like, let's go to your car, and you bang her, then you know she's a real dirtball, because like one night stands in this climate, that's not very good. What? Hey,
real life.
When I was 21, I loved dirtballs. Come on.
You were a dirtball, I bet.
No, I wasn't. Actually, well, never mind, because I met my wife. I was with my wife when we were like 21, actually, so it was a little earlier, maybe around like 19, when I was working at Club Monaco.
Oh, fuck. Chalmers worked at Club Monaco, and he served at Earl's, and every girl wanted him.
And all the boys that liked boys wanted me too.
Yeah, Chalmers he had a solid reign of the west end of Edmonton for a couple of years there.
King Chalmers.
Anyways, so that's what I'm thinking about fuck you, Jay.
Your M-Chuck can't handle the visuals.
No, I didn't look like that, Bag Milk. I look like Tom Cruise.
I just think that you should all, take a moment of silence for your boy Bag Milk and think about me in these trying times.
Yeah,
I'm always thinking about you, buddy.
Thank you.
You're isolating alone, but thankfully you have Frank.
Yep. Yeah, no kidding, man. Having a dog is a massive help. He's just entertaining all day.
So wait, just so I can think about you in the proper context, is isolating for you still like I'm not leaving my house?
Yeah.
Other than for a walk?
Yeah. I mean, I go to the grocery store, obviously. I do. Like, I go to the grocery store, obviously, because I need to eat. And, I got to go to the vet to pick up some food for Frank. And then I take walks and stuff. Like, this afternoon, I'm going to my buddy's place, and we're having driveway beers. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then this morning, my old man showed up, and we were yelling at each other out the window from my yard, and I was in the house, and we were yelling at each other. That's kind of funny. But, I don't really go anywhere, man. I'm locked down. So I'm with Jay in the sense that I know things are opening up and people are getting excited to go places, but I'm still of the mind that, okay, if this opens up, say May 15th, I'll see you guys at the end of June. Let's talk then.
I'm in the same boat.
I'm not going to the legislative grounds to picket and getting a yellow vest on or anything, but one case in Edmonton a day these days. I mean, I think you can be a little bit more confident that when you walk into a 7-Eleven, it's not laced with COVID in there. Like,
it's not that for me. It's like, it's not about being scared for me. It's just, I'm thinking about everybody else around. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I could be asymptomatic and just cruising around. I have no idea. I'm not worried about me. I'm not scared for me, but I've got an old man who had some my old man has some pre-existing conditions that I'm worried about him. And, I've got my grandma that's in an old folks home up north, and I'm worried about her. It's all that kind of shit. So for me, the easy part is just, I can just stay in my house. I can write for The Nation. I can do these podcasts with you guys. I'll go to the grocery store. I'll walk my dog. I'll go drink beers with my buddies on his driveway. For now,
and have virtual dates with people on WhatsApp.
Man, you just have FaceTime conversations with people, and it's not just meeting girls either. It's like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I've talked to my buddies so much more on FaceTime in this period than I ever have in my life. Do you know what I mean? So there's there's been some cool periods of reconnecting with some family. Like I had a hilarious conversation with my niece the other day. It was her 18th birthday, and she's obviously stuck in the house. She can't go anywhere. So we were having margaritas over FaceTime for her birthday. Like, it's such an odd thing, but at the same time, it was kind of a sweet and nice moment to have with her because she didn't get to do the normal stuff. So there are some positives in terms of connecting with people, but also it fucking sucks being stuck in the house.
Speaking of your niece, that's going to be sweet for her the first time she can finally go out to a bar. Like, it's going to make her enjoy and appreciate that so much more, having to, like, wait a few months after you turn 18.
She'll probably be going to a bar sometime this summer, and it won't be the same. It'll be weird.
Well, because it's like you said, Chalmers. She's not going to have the moment when you walk into the pint, the place is rammed on a Friday night. You're at the bar, you're waiting for a drink. Maybe you get a nation beer in your hand and you hit the D floor and you start busting out some moves in front of a bunch of people you have no idea. And that's part of the whole experience. And I feel bad for her that she's not going to get that.
Do you guys remember what you did on your 18th birthdays?
Yeah, I did all the shots in the world and then passed out in this like closet at my girlfriend at the time's place. It was like a storage closet full of like pickled like carrots and stuff. So I was drunk and I went in there and I started opening jars of pickled carrots and I just fell asleep on the floor.
Weird.
I don't remember what I did.
I went to Cowboys because my birthday was on a Monday. Ooh. Which was just a weak bar night. So thankfully I had fake ID and had it on a 25-cent draft Thursday prior to that.
Yeah, we had fake IDs when we were kids. Yeah, so we had been going to these places for quite a while. We used to go to Lee Gardens and sing karaoke, and we used to go to Cowboys a lot. So yeah, I don't really remember. 18th birthday wasn't that big of a deal because we kind of had it on our 17th birthday.
I never had a fake ID.
No,
it's tough now. Now. You know, we come from the day where it was hilariously. Well, we thought it was tough compared to what it was like 10 years prior to us, but we still found a way.
I'm going to save you from yourself. There was a way to make the IDs when we were young very easily faked, and and I'm not saying that we did it, but we were able to obtain license.
We knew of people who could.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. I was just from a small town, so I just walked in the bar and nobody cared.
Wow, that's perfect.
Well, I found when I was working at Safeway, I got lucky because I got told a few times that I look like this guy, and I'm gonna say his name is Dave. They're like, Jay, you look like Dave. And we didn't look alike, but we were both tall. But I took that as like an omen of like, I should talk to Dave and buy Dave's ID off of him so I can be Dave and have a legitimate ID and pretend I was Dave and use that to get in. Because the photo quality wasn't the best then either.
They weren't good at all.
So it weren't good enough until I went to a bar where the bouncer knew Dave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a tricky tap dance. Well, the big thing is I didn't care if I didn't get in. It was making sure I got my ID back because I knew it was fucking abort. So I was able to get Dave's ID and then run away and know not to go to that bar until I was of age.
Do you think the guy actually knew Dave, or do you think he was messing with you?
No, he did.
Oh, really?
Like he knew information. I was being asked questions specific to Dave, and if the answer wasn't Safeway, I was fucked.
Oh, that's a good one.
I got a question for you, Bag Milk. I saw that you posted a picture. You always post fun pictures. I love the shtick of when you see something on the ground and then you just
it's the best.
Take a picture of it and put free. It's the best. And I've often seen things and been like, I want to send him this picture so he can use it and then get a little bit of glory out of it. But you saw that microwave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is a legitly a good microwave.
Man,
really good.
You'll never I am never. So I've been doing this shtick for a few years now, and I am never I will never cease to be surprised by some of the stuff that I find when I'm out cruising with Frank. Like the things that people will just drop on the side of the road, or in that case, the microwave. Like you said, it was a nice microwave. I just saw that under a tree. It was just laying there.
It's a Panasonic inverter, and they come, and they're one of the microwaves, the only microwaves in stainless steel that come with trim kits. And so when you have a really upscale kitchen and you do like a wall oven or a wall microwave, you want it to look built in. And unless you get like an actual built-in microwave, which is thousands of dollars and usually connected to a wall oven, you get the Panasonic inverter. And that's what that was. And that thing, number one, is not cheap. And number two, not light. So how the fuck did it get under a tree is my good question. I don't know. Love to know.
Bagmel, you got a Gary V flip that shit.
Yeah,
I might have to start to, because like I just found the picture that I'm gonna have going up probably tomorrow. I found a full bed set just laying next to a fence.
What?
A mattress, a box spring. Who the fuck knows how it got there? It was just sitting up next to a fence on my walk with Frank. I'm just like, what is going on? It's just amazing. People are just like, obviously they can't dump where they are, or they don't want to go to the dump, or they whatever. So they just like drag things places.
Not having the means to dump something is the number one deterrent for people to not take care of their business and drag a mattress down an alley and throw it by the dumpster, because they don't have a truck. Maybe they don't even have a car. They don't know. There's no truck service, or like you can call 310 junk, but that's more expensive than dragging it down at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. down to the dumpster. Like, I hate it. There should be a service around town, like that that city of Edmonton uses, that you can call, and it would clean up the streets with big loads, right? Like, you know how they do big load events every so often?
Yeah.
Yep.
You still have to get the shit there, right? Like that. If I have a big bedroom set that I want to get rid of, but my wife owns a Nissan Sentra and I own a Toyota Corolla or something, like, we're not moving this thing to the big load event. No. You got to have those big loads basically like all summer going around to people, to neighborhoods. And like, so maybe like Elmwood will get it this week, and then like La Pearl will get it this week. Like, they need to do that. And maybe you'll see less mattresses leaning up against dumpsters and back alleys.
But like,
I'm just enjoying Chalmers keep continually to say big loads.
Yeah, he's got big load problems.
Big load.
You probably have big load problems right now, Bag Milk.
Oh, buddy, I'm telling you, man, when it rains, it is going to monsoon.
You're having a big load event every other day at your house.
Well, thank God for Pornhub, free Pornhub Premium.
Jeez.
Like, are you not a little scared to sign into Pornhub Premium?
No.
What's scary about that?
I don't know, man. I just wouldn't do it. Somebody gave us on our group chat, like a group chat of like 20 dudes, where it was for an event. Somebody put on a screenshot of a username and password, and I would not bring myself to use it. I just don't know. I'm not tech savvy enough to know that it wouldn't do something to like my iPad or else my phone. I just don't.
Are you scared of signing into Netflix?
Oh, hell no. I do that
yeah, but Netflix isn't owned by North Korea.
Yeah, Netflix isn't exactly operating
or
in the
Putin.
underground.
Pornhub, I've learned, and actually, you know what? It was Wanye that taught me this, is actually based in Quebec.
Yeah, it's a Canadian company, right?
Yeah.
Wow. They must be rich.
I did know that, actually. He told me that, too.
Yeah, they got to be minting it right now.
All I have to say is, in my younger days, Lenny Bamboo.
Oh, Lenny Bamboo. What site?
And that's an inside joke, but that was the keys to the digital pornographic castle of its time.
Back in the day, Bag Milk, it wasn't just type in P and next thing you know, you got yourself a million options. It was a lot harder than that.
No, back in the day, what we had is I'll never forget this ever. I'm not going to say the guy's name because it was, but like he worked. We went to this guy. This guy I knew worked at a gas station, and every month or so they would get new shipments of magazines. And what they would do with the old ones is basically just rip the covers off to get a refund, and then throw the meat of the magazine out in giant bags into the recycling out back. So he would always let us know at school that this was happening, that the new shipments were in. So we would go and scoop up just these huge bags of porn, massive bags, and we would just be like,
"What did you do with them all?"
We would just give them out to buddies. Be like, "Hey, check out the new shipment of whatever."
Didn't Wanye used to sell sheets like pages out of like Playboy and shit like that for like 25 cents a page.
It sounds like something he would do.
Always the entrepreneur.
Yeah. So what else is going on, boys?
I mean, where do we go from there, you know?
Your M-Chuck?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about now?
Yeah, you got some structure for us, your M-Chuck?
Well, yeah, I do. There was... I just didn't... I'm sorry, I'm a little thrown off. I didn't think we'd get that much into porn today. I thought maybe we'd save that for next week. Last Dance?
Do you want to get...
Anyone watching Last Dance still?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Along?
it was awesome. When you were talking about... When you were just about to say that, though, can you explain to me, because I've seen rumblings of this thing, but a group... We were just talking about group chats and stuff, and how group chats can be pretty sacred. And, you know, you need to know who's in your group chat. You know where I'm going with this, Chuck?
Brendan Leipzig?
What the hell is going on here? I've seen one little clip, and my friends are too cool to explain to me what the hell's going on, and I ain't got time to read about it.
So basically, here's the thing. Brendan Leipzig, he's played on like 5 teams in 5 years or something like that, like fringe NHLer type of deal, would pass through waivers at any given point. Someone hacked his buddy's Instagram DMs and basically revealed a whole bunch of shit that Leipzig has said. Some of it talking about like, oh, is the blow good and that stuff. But then there was some like, you know, saying some pretty gross stuff about players' wives, calling, you know, one player's wife fat. He took a shot at Lauren Kyle, Connor McDavid's girlfriend, and just
that's the one. That's the screenshot I saw. Was he commented on her legs in a Halloween picture?
Yeah, and like he just kind of outed
it wasn't
himself.
Even funny.
Yeah, it's not. It's just like stupid as fuck and gross. But yeah, basically he got outed as being like a massive shitbag in a private DM. So it's opened up this whole conversation of, well, should the NHL be suspending him? Do they need to? Will teams just not touch the guy now? Is that like fair is the rough word to use on this? But some people are saying like that was his privacy. Like he never was out and about like saying this in public. It was meant to be a private conversation. So does he get a pass? Like he doesn't get a pass from me, but
here's the thing.
I don't know.
Don't you think that 95% of NHLers who have had a group chat have said something that would probably be deemed, you know, in bad taste? Probably every single one. We've all probably done it. If everybody's text messages and stuff were on alert. My questions is number one, who has an Instagram group chat? For one thing, I don't even heard of that. Is that something people do?
Yes.
Do the kids and like younger people talk on Instagram more than they would talk on like WhatsApp?
No, but like text? Sometimes you want to send a funny Instagram post to your boys, so you have a group chat.
Okay, well that makes sense. But man, those things get like I don't know. Everybody's done it. But making fun of wives, I'm sure like everybody's done it. This guy got caught. That fucking sucks for him.
And that's what I mean. Like people online were acting like stunned. They were like, "Oh, hockey players are usually so like classy, blah 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 blah." And it's like, you know, he's not the only dirtbag playing in the NHL, and he is far, far, far from the only piece of shit playing in the NHL. And if I agree, like if you outed every NHL player's DMs, a lot of people would be, you know, your opinions of these players would change a bit, but that's kind of professional sports in a nutshell, right? Like you put these guys on a bit of a higher pedestal and they're supposed to live up to it a bit. And when it comes out that they're, you know, being garbage people, then it's always, everyone always acts surprised. And my point is you shouldn't be.
Okay. So my last comment about this is you started this all off with, he's been on 5 different teams and I'd never even heard of this guy.
Yeah.
And that he like, was there already preconceived notions this guy was kind of a shitbag to begin with?
Well, no, there's never been anything being like, oh, Brendan Leipzig's a piece of shit. But you kind of just look at the fact that he's bounced around as much as he has. And it's like, okay, maybe there's a reason why. Like, so he started his pro career in 2014-15 with the Milwaukee Admirals. That year, he was sent to the Toronto Marlies. Then he went up to the Leafs the next season, sent down to the Marlies. Up with the Leafs, spent another year in the American Hockey League, never got another call up with Leafs. And then in 2017-18, he went to Vegas. Halfway through the year, sent to Vancouver. Halfway through the next season, sent to LA. LA didn't renew his deal. He signed in Washington. Like, this guy has bounced around a lot. He's a suitcase.
So he's in Washington right now.
Yeah, his current team is the Capitals.
He was in Washington. He is going to be in Russia.
Yeah, that guy is going to the KHL, man. Like, how if you're a team, bring him in.
Hold on. Wasn't Hoffman down in the same kind of vein as this? Like, didn't he say something shitty about?
Well, Chalmers, he was so just to add more context, he was slamming line mates, past and present, as well.
Yeah, like in
so
one of them.
One
of them, he called like Garnet Hathaway and some other line mate he had. Like, someone sent a post about those two into the group chat, and he goes, "Oh, those are my line mates, fucking losers."
So is he good?
No, he's not. Like, he's going.
He's fourth line.
And you know what? I honestly
so
think
regardless
that.
Of sorry.
I think like within the room, I think he would honestly, as terrible as this sounds, I think if another team signed him or he went, obviously not back to the Capitals, but to another team, I don't think it would be that big of a problem within the room. But the outer PR and the circus it would be and the distraction it'd be of this guy having to get pelted with questions, like, I don't see him playing in the NHL again. I think he's out of here. Like you said, Jay, he's KHL bound.
Yeah.
Even if he did play another game in the NHL, I just feel like he would be in for a healthy dose of prison justice.
Oh, man, like, after taking a shot at Connor McDavid's girlfriend, if he needs to play the Oilers at all next season or when the season resumes, I guarantee, maybe not Connor, but someone's going after him.
Mike Smith.
And Mike Smith will fucking...
Did you guys listen to our boy Con on Spit and Chicklets there?
No, I did not. I don't listen to Spit and Chicklets.
I'm just getting through it, but I've heard most of it.
I don't listen to it either, Chuck, but when Con's on, I do.
I should
listen.
So
I listen to the 30-minute, and man, he's getting it. Like, I think he's one of the coolest. They love him, and he's really good on that show. And I think he likes doing it because this is not the first time. I think he's been on there like 3 times now.
Yeah.
But he couldn't help but mention a couple times that he had built a new house in Edmonton, like a custom house. And I'm sure if you follow either of them on Instagram, you've probably seen the house. But he made a comment at the very end that he had a falling out with the builder. And
Really?
all I could think about was, number one, who the fuck is this guy? Who's the guy that built this house? Because I need to know. And number two, how do you have a falling out with the most powerful, popular person in Edmonton?
That's fine.
Yeah, whatever he wants.
Do you not do everything in your fucking power to make sure this doesn't happen? He says in the interview that he nickel and dimed him at every turn. Like, there's a way to go about building a house for somebody where you get what the stuff is worth. Now, there's also a lot of moving parts. And, for instance, if I price in something that's worth $5 a piece, like a door handle for a cabinet, and you go and pick something that's $20, I have to communicate with you that this is not in our budget and that there will be an upcharge. And if you're not okay with it, then you have to go find something that's $5 a piece. And the budgets have to be well thought out. They have to be at least above average. If you give an allowance for something and it's not above average, then you're really just shortchanging your customer and you're not being a very honest and good person. So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure this guy, whoever he used, is already like a luxury home builder and has plenty of clients and plenty of work. But also, if you're building a house for McDavid, you would think that you'd be like, I'm going to be as nice as fucking possible to this dude. And at the end, go, hey, Connor, don't forget to mention me to your teammates, please. Like, this would have been a goldmine to be just the builder of the Oilers.
Oh, yeah. He's the captain.
And how would a deal like this come together though? Because my thought would be, well, maybe this was the first time this builder or whatever put together a house of this magnitude. Like, how does this come together?
No, so houses of this magnitude though, anytime you build a house that's big, like I've built some really big custom houses, they all have their own challenges, and I mean even small houses have their challenges, depending on how they are engineered and how they are designed. But this guy would never be trusted with this house if this was his first house. And I know for a fact this was not his first house. I don't know him at all. I don't know their company at all. But a company, how this would come about would be Connor would have like the team they have a team liaison or like somebody that is in the community that's either real estate agents and have been working with the team for a long time.
Like a concierge of sorts.
Exactly. Somebody that helps people find renters. Some rental properties in the city. Somebody that helps people find, you tell them this is where this person wants to live. Like when, let's say, Mike Smith comes from Calgary. Well, this is where we think you would like to live. or a single guy, maybe you would like to live in this area, and then here are the available properties. They have somebody like that for the team. Well, that person also knows home builders and most likely trusts these home builders. But so this person that started in with Connor didn't intend to nickel and dime him, but something happened. Something happened in this project that changed everything. You know how they say people aren't usually cheaters until they have to be, or that people usually don't lie until they have to. Well, this couldn't have been a situation where this guy was just in it to try to get as much money out of Connor as possible, But something happened, sometimes when people start picking materials or have designs change in the midst of a project, and that costs money, people don't understand how much a change can cost. When you sign a contract for a house, and then all of a sudden in the middle of a project, you change something, depending on the scope of it, it's going to cost money and it's going to cost time. And those are two things that are hard for people to understand. Well, why? It's just part of just part of the build. So I would like to know the whole story. But
I would like to know the other guy's story. Yeah.
So
I have my theories on this, but I'm just gonna kind of keep them with myself. But what you do is if you can brag that you built Connor McDavid's house, that's going to unlock business, right? So fucking just do a good job and don't make it go. For Connor to go public, Connor doesn't share bad news with anyone. For him to actually go on a heavily listened podcast and actually, not you name names, but slam the builder.
That's my point, though. This guy, this home builder didn't get into the position that he's in where he can be building a house for basically, one of the wealthiest, powerful people in the city at the time. He didn't get in that position without being very smart and knowing how business works. So for him to just ignore the fact that he knows that, look, if I lost money on Connor's house, it doesn't matter in the short term. It does matter in the short term. It doesn't matter in the long term, because if at least Connor knows and is happy with his house, I will get more business and I will get prestigious business and I can make up for it later. But to turn around halfway through this project or right at the end and throw that all out the window and just not make amends with him and to let him even be in a position that he's in where he would say something fucking happened.
Yeah. He's lost the ability now to say he built Connor McDavid's house, because now you don't want to be known as the guy that did that. You don't
want to be known as that. Now he's probably trying to hide that fact, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shitty. I heard that. I got upset just because I'm fuck, I want you to love every aspect of Edmonton, and this is now a negative experience. And I know that this plays a small part in the whole grand scheme of what Edmonton is, but just I just want you to love living here. Yeah. And so
in the thing he even says, don't build a house. Do not build a house. And my heart just broke. I was like, man, you're a young guy, and now you're never going to build another house from scratch. There's people that I've built houses for. Tons of the houses I've built for is the best experience of people's lives. And to know that he at 25, how old is he?
23.
27?
23, 24.
23?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. To know that that's already been changed for him forever, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll just cheer a little extra louder for him just to make him feel more welcome.
Maybe a 23-year-old with all the money in the world, maybe he isn't exactly the easiest person or the best person to build a house for. Just devil's advocate.
Yeah, and that's entirely possible. I mean, we know his girlfriend's an interior designer as well, so I even wonder how much the builder would have been doing, how much they they might have wanted to be more hands-on than the average person, right?
I bet I've got theories. I bet you this was complicated on both sides. At the end of the day, you get the job done, you make the relationship positive, because in the long term, that is to be able to point to that and always say that as a selling feature for your product, is going to unlock business. And that's just kind of how I would do it. But not knowing the builder, maybe he's in a position where, fuck you, money is in his possession. So whatever.
Chris, Connor, when Connor, you listen to this, just know that I'm offering my services go to my website, ChristopherKeithHomes.ca, and contact me, and I will do everything for free to fix your house if there's deficiencies, unless it's fucking crazy. But straight up, like, I would come over and I would be like, dude, man, just like love this city again, love building, love your house, and like, I don't know how this guy. I don't know. There's probably more to it though. I'm just trying to fucking.
All good.
And Connor, if you're listening to this and you really hate your house, you could go live with bagged milk.
That's right. I got 2 rooms. I got 2 empty rooms for you, pal.
One for the hockey equipment, one for the Hart Trophy.
Lenny would love to play with Frank. I could see all of this coming together. We would be the best trio in Edmonton.
Match made in heaven.
Absolutely.
So you were going to talk about the Last Dance.
Yeah,
MJ
that'll be
Doc.
the last topic we get to because we're getting close to 2 o'clock and I need to be at my condo at 2 o'clock to meet with a cable guy.
Yeah, we got to keep it 100. Someone has to keep it 100 for
I
consistency.
don't have anything to keep it 100 right now. I'm too tired.
I can keep it 100 here. It's actually about having to meet with cable companies, and I'm sure I am in the minority, or, I'm not very educated on this, but I got a thing with the cable company. They said they're coming between 2 and 5. And tomorrow.
That's a short window, actually.
That one's actually not bad, but tomorrow IKEA says they're coming between 12 and 6. And it's like, I feel like there should be some sort of policy where, like, the morning of or something, they hit you with a more direct time. I know things get backed up and it's a complicated delivery process, but I feel like that's something that should be a little bit more standard of like, hey, your window's 12 to 6, and on the day of, we'll shorten your window to something else, because that would save me a lot of hours of sitting in a condo that has like no internet or anything, because I've been doing that a lot lately.
So there is a lot of companies that straight up will call you the morning of. I can think of some really, really good delivery companies. Yeah, and like a place like Trail Appliances, they will call you that morning and they will tell you a time within like a 1 hour window or a 2 hour window. And usually they're like, right. Usually if you really want it, you say, okay, well, so when exactly you can get it right nailed down. But just imagine a company like IKEA to play devil's advocate for them, to try to call everybody they have a delivery for that morning and schedule it perfect. I can't even schedule my own day, and I'm one person. Usually something comes up or something goes a little awry and it throws the whole thing out of whack. Could you imagine if they showed up a little earlier than they thought and then they had to wait and that threw off the next thing and it's just this linear domino effect? I mean, I totally understand why I would want to have better than between 12 and 5 window. Yeah,
I'm probably just being a bit of a brat. The other thing I wanted to keep it 100 on is, you got to go, Chalmers?
No. There's somebody walking past my truck at a snail's pace in a parking lot, and as I was moving forward, somebody stood in front of my truck and told me with their hand not to move until they were passed.
Oh, did you not know that?
So I was putting on my hand saying, yep, I hear you, pal. You don't have to stand in front of my fucking truck any longer.
Here's the other thing I want to keep it 100 on. People, it's starting to become more socially acceptable to have like the socially distant drinks in your backyard, on your driveway. Yesterday, I had a couple buddies in the backyard. We sat 6 feet apart. We all brought our own beers. We listened to some music, and then they packed up their lawn chairs. And they were drinking, so their girlfriends picked them up. But still, I've been seeing people though, and there's this one girl that I went to high school with who has been nonstop posting Instagram stories and Snap stories of her with different social groups doing like 13, 14 people in a little backyard. She'll post like socially distanced Cinco de Mayo, and they're playing like beer darts and beer pong and shit. And I'm like, if you're standing 6 feet apart, but playing beer pong with the same ball, that defeats the purpose of being 6 feet apart. If you're playing beer darts, everyone is touching the same darts. And just like if you're going to do it, you're dumb enough for doing it. 2, to be like bragging about it openly and be like, look at all the dumb shit I'm doing. That's like a whole nother issue.
You're just asking for it.
It's frustrating.
I do also find it funny that when people post pictures of something they had done like 6 months ago because they want to say happy birthday to somebody, and that they have to, in the picture, tag it or say something like, this was taken like 6 months ago. Yeah. That always makes me chuckle, and
but it's true. Very early on in this, when we went and volunteered at Belmont Sobeys to do bagging groceries for the seniors hour, I took a photo with the store owner, and we were probably 4 feet apart, and I was getting ripped.
You got it from our friends on our group chat.
Well, I get everything from our friends on our group chat, and that's okay. But like, it was from like every. It was funny, but so I was like, shit, like I got to take this more serious in terms, because like it's rightfully so a sensitive subject.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's why, but like the thing that frustrates me about this is that everybody on this podcast is aware of it. And yeah, sometimes it'd be like, oh shit, I didn't think about that, but we're trying our best. And then there are other people, like I was walking Frank yesterday, and there's a park near my place, and there was probably 12 dudes playing a game of pickup basketball. And I'm like, come on, boys. What are we doing here?
How old are these kids? Are they young or are they older? Like,
no, they were older guys. I'm good. If I was to ballpark, they're in their 20s for sure.
Well, if I'm keeping it 100, I am fucking golfing tomorrow, and I am excited.
Oh,
yeah,
lucky.
I'm playing tomorrow morning.
I need to go outside, and I need to walk around and engage with nature and swing a golf club and hopefully break 90. And I will be socially distanced from my friends, and I'm looking forward to it. I know it's a sensitive subject, but for me, activity is released.
Any person that thinks it's a sensitive subject, DM me about it.
If I'm keeping it 100, I will stop making golf jokes on Twitter, because man, some of the messages I got when I was making fun of the golf thing were just, people got mad, real mad about it. I was just like, all right, man.
I know you're joking, right? Like, I know that you're kidding around, and I know Rick, what he's getting at. I know his shtick, but like, there's people that are legit rattled that golf courses are open. My golf course has protocols that are so tight. There is literally golfing is safer than me going into the Home Depot, and I do it twice a day. And that store is open, and
yeah,
it's safer. It's hard to stay 6 feet away from somebody in a Home Depot. The aisles just aren't wide enough. They're making you go one way, but it's just impossible to always do it. On a golf course, I am going to show up 15 minutes for my time. They will not let me pass my gate unless it's 15 minutes past the time. I have to be on the tee sheet. I then go to the parking lot. I get my stuff. I go straight to the first tee, and I get in my cart, and I go and play. I'm the only one in my cart. The pins have this little lifter now where when the ball goes in the hole, you just lift it up, and the ball will come out. We're not touching ball washers. They're all gone from the cart. There's no water. There's no benches out there. It's literally the safest thing I do in a day. So I understand that you think that golfing is like that. Some people can think that it's just like this totally pretentious, unnecessary thing. But it's not like driving ranges are open. There's not all this stuff. You're literally just going. You're playing a game. One of the only games that's perfectly fine for social distancing, because you don't ever touch anything of anybody else's. And you go home. And I've been doing it my whole life, and it's what my summers are, and everything else has been taken away. Just get off our back.
Do they have golf carts right now, or do you got to walk?
No, golf carts.
Yeah, solo. You can't share a cart with someone, though. It's
unless
solo
you're in the
cart.
same house, right?
Unless you're in the same house, yeah.
If I'm keeping it 100, just because I posted something on theweathersnation.com today, Rolliston, Stoll, and Morrow did a conference call yesterday talking about the 2006 Cup run. If I'm keeping it 100, it has been about 15 years, not quite. I still love Dwayne Rollison as much in 2020 as I did in 2006.
I agree.
The way that Morrow and Stoll talked about what he meant to that team and how well he was playing before he got hurt in the finals, man, it was giving me chills to listen to. And then when they talked about the final series against Carolina, broke my heart all over again. But man, do I still love Dwayne Rollison. And that's it.
The Edmonton Journal wrote a piece and had a great headline today. And the headline was just, Dwayne Rollison's injury was crippling for Oilers in 2006. And it's like, well, no shit, hey?
Wow. It took hindsight of 14 years to come to that conclusion. I want to provide an update to a story that we were just talking about in the pod about Brendan Lipsick. His brother, Jeremy, who plays for the University of Manitoba Bison
Yeah.
hockey team, has been booted off the team because he was a member of the group chat.
Crazy.
Really?
So marinate on that.
I wonder who else is in the group chat.
Yeah. So Remchuk, I know you're a busy man and you got to take care of your own business. So should we park
MJ?
MJ for the next episode?
Yeah, we'll do MJ on Monday then. We'll talk MJ on Monday.
And that'll lead into fresh episodes. I'm excited.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, well,
unreal. I've got a quick Nation Beer update. I've just pulled up to a garage. I'm about to be loaded with a bunch of Nation Beer that I'm going to be delivering. The boys at Dog Island made 300 flats of beer. It's going to be in the Real Canadian liquor stores, hopefully tomorrow, if not on the weekend, and we'll confirm that with everyone. I want to thank everyone once again for the support. Stay tuned to our Donaire bracket and follow Bag Milk and myself on the Nation Happy Hour. But Nation Beer is exciting, and it is fucking rolling, and we've got lots of supply right now. So we love the support, so hook us up.
Can I ask a question about Nation Beer?
You may.
Is the upside-down label, was that on purpose?
So we are going to have a few cans with upside-down labels, and if you get a 4-pack or a flat with an upside-down label, you are going to get a free, you won yourself a Nation Beer shirt.
Oh, I thought maybe the boys at Dog Island got a little ass backwards and actually made some cans upside down, and you guys were like, "Well, it looks like."
No. We wanted to create some Easter eggs.
Oh, that's cool
for everyone. Oh shit, this is okay. So yeah, I wanted to give everyone an update there, and yeah, thank you so much for the support. It's crazy, and we've got more supply now than ever. So if we move through this, then holy shit. We are going places.
There you go. Thanks for giving me and all the listeners some time today, guys. And a big shout out to Japa Machinery once again as well. We love the folks at Japa. Go check them out on Twitter, on Instagram. We're always tagging them. Give them a follow. Japa Equipment. Guys, we'll talk to you again on Monday.
Later,
thanks,
boys.
guys. Stay safe.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.